Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In this week Forex analysis, we're looking at the Euro USD, the Pounds USD, USDJPY, Australia USD, Gold USD. Then we also look at the USDJPY and the BTC and US30. So we'll be diving straight to the analysis where we'll be breaking down the key levels and our area of interest for the week. So let's dive straight to the chart. So we'll be starting our analysis with the Pounds USD. So the Pounds USD on my daily chart rejected from this key resistance level. So long price rejected from this particular resistance level. This is a sign of price retesting back to this support level. And a break of this support level might trigger more of the bearish trend to the downside for the Pounds USD. So long the Pounds USD rejected from this area, we can see Pounds rejected from this strong resistance level. So long price rejected from that level, this is a sign of strong reversal trend on the Pounds USD. But let's look at the structure of the trend on the Pounds USD. On the daily chart, you can see we still have this sideways trend. So Pounds is still remain on the sideways trend for months now. So long we still have this sideways trend, we need a break to the downside for a major move, and we also need a break for to the upside for a major move. So what do we expect this week on the Pounds USD? For us to see any big move, we need a break above this resistance, then we can start looking for possible buy. Then we need a break below this level, we wait for a retest, we can start looking for possible selling opportunity for the Pounds to the downside. So we can see from our daily chart now, we still have sideways trend. We don't have a clear direction yet for any big move on the Pounds USD. So let's confirm this trend from the higher time frame. On the weekly time frame, we can clearly see that price rejected from this resistance level and this resistance level, which indicate price reversal for the Pounds USD to this next weekly support level. So long the weekly and the daily are indicating this reversal of Pounds to the downside, so we expect Pounds to drop this week to this next weekly support level. And a break of this support level might trigger price to this next support level on the weekly time frame. So let's look at the trend of the weekly time frame. You can clearly see that the weekly time frame, we can see we still have sideways trend also on the weekly time frame. You can see we still have price still remain on the range on the weekly time frame. But for us to see any major move on the Pounds USD on the weekly time frame, we need price to break below this level, wait for retest for us to see a major move. For the big move for uptrend, we need price to break above this high before start looking for possible buy to the top for the Pounds USD. So long price still remain on this range, we still remain on the sideways trend on the Pounds USD until we see a break of this out of the range before we start looking for any major sell. So whatever we are trading now on the Pounds USD, we are trading reversal trend on the Pounds USD. So you can clearly see now that the weekly on the Pounds USD supports the selling of price to this next daily support level. So we expect price to drop to this daily support level this week. Then a break of this level might trigger more sell for the Pounds USD to the downside. So look for your selling opportunity on the Pounds USD this week. So let's look at our next pair, which is the Euro USD. Euro USD on my daily chart still remain on a sideways trend, but we have an inner structure trend on the Euro USD. If you have been following my analysis since last week, I'll be saying that Euro USD is currently on a strong resistance level. You can see last week we have price close on this support level. You can see we have price fail to break below the support level, which push price back to this resistance level. So long price give us a setup from this resistance level. Now we expect price to drop to this next support level on the Euro USD. Then if price fail to break this level, we might see a retest, then we'll see further sell for the Euro USD to the downside. So let's look at the major trend of the Euro USD on the daily time frame. So the major trend on the Euro USD on the daily time frame still remain on a sideways trend. We can see we still have price still creating this sideways trend. We still have this sideways trend on the Euro USD. Before we can see any major move on Euro USD, we need price to break out of this level. Once price can break out of this range, we can start looking for strong buy or strong sell on the Euro USD. For now, we are just trading reversal trend on the Euro USD. We don't have a clear direction yet. We are only trading the reversal trend on the Euro USD. So let's look at the inner structure trend on the currently on Euro USD on the daily time frame. We can see we have this higher high and a lower high. So this indication of price reversal for Euro USD to this next weekly support level, and in price fail to break support level, we wait for a test. Then we can start looking for possible sell this week for the Euro USD to the downside. So we can't just take this trade now because we see this a series of lower high for inner structure for downtrend for the Euro USD. No, we need price. We also need to confirm the price from the higher time frame. But before we do that, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel for more trading tips and forex analysis. So you can see that Euro USD is currently on this strong resistance level. Price still finding it difficult to break this resistance level. So long price finding it difficult to break the resistance level, we still expect price to drop to this next support level, which is this support level on the Euro USD. So we're expecting price to drop to that particular support level on the Euro USD. And if price fail to break that support level, this might trigger a reversal. If price fail to break this level, might trigger a reversal back to this level before start looking for another level of selling for the Euro to the downside. So let's look at the weekly time frame of the Euro USD. So on my weekly time frame on the Euro USD, we can clearly see that price is still on a range. So for us to see that full break, we need series of lower high for us to see that flow, because we need that flow of price for us to really make money from this market. Without that flow of price, we just keep struggling in this market. Once we have the flow, you will see how price will be reacting to the movement to either the downside or the upside for the Euro USD. So what do we expect this week on the Euro USD? First of all, we still have price on the weekly time frame still close on resistance level, which is first clarification that price, we expect price to drop this week. So long price remain on this sideways trend, we need a break below this level for us to see any major sell. So this week we expect the Euro USD to drop because price close on a resistance level. Then we also have price break this higher low. This is also a sign of price dropping to the downside for the Euro USD. So now we can clearly see that price close on this resistance area and price fail to break. So long price fail to break this resistance, this is an indication of reversal trend for price to drop to this next weekly support level on the Euro USD. We can clearly see that the daily time frame and the weekly time frame are pointing the same direction on the Euro USD, which is we're expecting the Euro USD to drop to what? To the downside. So we have two levels we're expecting price to drop to this week. First, we need price to drop to this first target. We have the first target as our first target here, then our second target. And a break of any of these two levels, we expect more of the bearish trend for the Euro USD to the downside. So we still expect more of the bearish trend on the Euro USD this week. So let's go back to our daily chart. So on my daily chart now, we can clearly see that we have some price action setup already telling us that we are expecting more of the dropping trend on the Euro USD this week. If you want to learn how to understand this market and analyze the chart properly and also place your trade the right way, you can get access to my one-on-one mentorship, or you can get my video courses. The link is in the description below. So let's continue with our analysis. Let's look at our next pair, which is the DXY. So the DXY on my daily chart close on this level. We see our price close on this support level. So long we have price close on this support level, we still expect price reversal back to this resistance level on the DXY, which is the dollar index. And a break of price above this level might trigger more of the bearish or more of the bullish trend for the DXY this week. So the DXY currently is already pointing reversal trend for us to see this week for buying opportunity. So long the DXY is pointing reversal trend and price close on a support level on the DXY, this is a sign of strong reversal for the euro, for the DXY this week, which is the dollar index. You can see we have this lower low and higher low. So this is a sign of strong reversal trend for price to break this next resistance level. Then wait for a test. We can continue towards to buy the DXY to the top. So let's confirm this trend from the weekly time frame. On my weekly time frame, we can clearly see that price close on a support level. We can clearly see that price close on this weekly support level. So long price close on weekly support level, this is an indication of price reversal back to this weekly resistance level. So we expect price to reverse back from this level to this next resistance level on the dollar index. Then let's look at the trend of the dollar index. We can clearly see that we have this lower low, then we have higher low, then we have this higher low. So this is a sign of reversal trend, bullish trend for the dollar index to the top. So this week we are to expect more of the buying on the dollar index this week. So take advantage of buying more of the dollar pairs this week. So let's go back to our daily time frame. So on our daily time frame now, our job this week, so long the weekly time frame is indicating buying opportunity and the daily chart also indicating buying opportunity, we are to buy the dollar index to this next resistance level on the daily chart. So let's look at our next pair, which is the Australia USD. So Australia USD on my daily chart also closed on resistance level. We can clearly see that we have price close on this resistance, daily resistance level, which is an indication of price reversal for the Australia USD. So I'm still expecting price to drop to this support level on the Australia USD. So we need price to, so don't price close on this resistance. We need price to break below this level. We expect to retest. Then we can start looking for price to drop to this next daily support level on the Australia USD. So let's confirm this trend from the weekly time frame. So on my weekly time frame, we can also see that price also closed on resistance level, which is this resistance level on the Australia USD. The long price close on this resistance level, we see expect price to drop back to this support, this weekly support, before we can see further buy for the Australia USD. Because the major trend of the Australia USD still remain on a bullish trend. You can see we still have strong bullish momentum on Australia USD, which is we have this lower low. You can see we have higher low and a series of higher low. So long we have this series of higher low, this indicates more of the bullish trend on the Australia USD. So if we are selling the Australia USD now, this shows that we are trading a reversal trend on the Australia USD, which is we are expecting price to do a retest of this level. Then we can start looking for more buy for the Australia USD to the top. So let's go back to the daily time frame. So on my daily time frame now, so long price close on resistance on the weekly, so long price close on the resistance on the daily. So we expect price reversal for the Australia to this next daily support level. A break of this support level might trigger more selling opportunity for the Australia USD. So this week I don't have a clear signal to sell the Australia for now. I'll be waiting for proper series of lower high for me to sell the Australia to the downside. So let's look at our next pair, which is the USDJPY. USDJPY last week dropped massively because of a strong fundamental from the Tokyo section from the USDJPY. So we can clearly see that we have this strong selling of sell, which I saw this sell coming last week because why? Price close on this resistance level. So long price close on this resistance level. This is an indication of reversal trend back to this level. But you can see that price break this level to the downside. That's why you must learn how to read this chart like a pro. So you know when to close your trade and when to enter your trade. If you are serious about your trading, you can book my one-on-one mentorship or you can get access to my video course. The link is in the description below. This week, what are we expecting from the USDJPY? So long price close below this major level. We need price to retest back to these areas before we can start looking for further sell for the USDJPY. So we need a reversal of trend because we have a resistance at this area. Price must test this level before we start looking for any possible selling opportunity. So we have to wait for price to come to this resistance area for us to sell to the downside. But we also need a confirmation of this particular trend on the USDJPY. So let's confirm from the weekly time frame if price will do as predicted. So on my weekly time frame, we can clearly see that the price on the USDJPY still have strong bullish momentum for buying opportunity. We can see we still have this series of higher low, which is having this lower low, and this series of higher low is a strong indication for more of the buying opportunity on the USDJPY. You can see that this particular trend that dropped last week, this is just a reversal trend for price to touch this weekly support level. So my seeing price heading back to this next resistance for the USDJPY. So you can clearly see that the weekly and the daily are giving us a different information for now. So the weekly is telling us to look out for more of a buy, while the daily is telling us to look out for more of the sell. So, but for the weekly chart, we also have price converting this support level, this support into a resistance level. But price need to test all this resistance level, which are not that clear for us for the USDJPY. We might still see price break out of this level, wait for a test, we can start looking for more buy. So for now, I don't have a clear direction on USDJPY, so I wait for clear direction for me to sell the USDJPY to the downside. So expect price to continue to push higher to this area for this week on the USDJPY. So let's look at our next pair, which is the US30. So US30 on my daily chart still rejected from a daily resistance level on the US30. You can see we still have price fail to close above this particular week daily resistance level. So long price fail to close above this particular resistance level, we expect price to drop back to this next support level for us to look out for more buy, or a break of this support might trigger more selling opportunity for the US30 to the downside. So we still expect price to drop this week on the US30. So let's confirm this particular trend from the weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame on the US30, we can also see that price rejected from this resistance area, this same resistance area, so which indicates we're expecting price to drop this week for the US30. So you can see that my analysis is always clear. Once we see a clear reversal of trend on the chart, we'll bring it out to you. If you can take advantage of it, to be very clear for you to sell. If you don't know how to take advantage of this analysis I'm giving you, can give you raw analysis, and they are all pro analysis, and they are all giving us results weekly. If you have been following my analysis, you notice that my analysis are always 85% accurate. So if you want to take advantage of this analysis, you can learn the right way to trade And if you want to do that, you can get access to my one-on-one mentorship. The link also in description below. So the US30 is telling us now that we are expecting more of the selling opportunity on the US30. So you can see that the US30 on the weekly and the daily are in resistance level, which shows that we're expecting price to drop this week for US30 to this support level. A break of this support level might expect more of the sell for the US30 to the downside. So let's look at our next pair, which is the gold USD. So the gold USD on my daily chart still have a sideways trend. We still have this sideways trend on the gold USD. We can see the major structure. We have this major structure, this higher high and a lower high, then a lower high. So we can see previously we also have price creating lower low, then we have this higher low and higher low. So long price break below this level now, this higher low, we see this price to come below this support level. We see have this support area here. We can't do anything on this support level. If we are trading from this support, selling from this support level, it might be a risk. So I need a clear direction for me to start to sell the gold. If we can break this support level, wait for a test, then we can start looking for sell on the gold. For now, I can't sell gold for now because I need a clear price to break below this particular support level, which is this daily support level. We need a clear break of this daily support level for us to sell the gold to the downside. So without that break, we stay neutral on the gold. For once we see the break, we start selling. But if we don't see that the break, we remain neutral for the gold. So let's look at the weekly time frame on the gold USD. So on my weekly time frame, you can also see that we see have price on this support. We need price to convert this particular support to resistance, then we can start looking for sell. For now, we don't have that clear direction, but we have this higher high and a lower high, which is a lower high also. This is an indication of price reversal to the downside. But we need a clear confirmation for us to sell the gold to the downside. We expect gold to drop to this next support level this coming week. So we see remain bearish on the gold, but we need proper confirmation for us to sell the gold. Until we see that clear confirmation before we make any further decision on the gold for selling opportunity. So for now, we can't sell the gold until we see that confirmation on the gold USD before we make any sell decision on the gold USD. So we have to remain neutral on the gold USD for now. So let's look at our next pair, which is the BTC USD. So the BTC USD on my daily chart have strong bullish momentum for more of the buying opportunity to the top. So long we have price is creating series of higher low. So long we have this series of higher low, we expect more of the buying on the gold to this next resistance level for this coming week. So we have to look out for more of the buying opportunity on the gold USD because price remains strongly bullish on the gold USD. So let's look at the areas we can buy gold for this coming week. This week, let me just give out these levels to buy. We have this support level on the gold USD. So we need price to come back to this support area. Once we see price on this support area, give us a price setup. We can start looking for buying of the gold to the top. So let's look at the weekly time frame for us to confirm if there will be a chance for gold to buy to this top. So on my weekly time frame, you can clearly see that price is always creating bullish momentum for the gold USD. We can clearly see that we have this double bottom. So long we have this double bottom, this is a sign of reversal trend. And you can see that the double bottom, we have lower low and higher low. This is a sign of reversal trend for gold to move to this next resistance level. So you can see that the weekly time frame is telling us that we see expect more of buying opportunity on the gold, on the BTC USD. So long the BTC is telling us that we see expect more of the buy this week. So we have to look at more of the buying opportunity on the BTC USD. So the BTC USD on my daily chart and the weekly chart, they are pointing more of the bullish trend this week. So we have to look out for the buying opportunity on the BTC USD. So wait for price to give us a clear direction for us to buy the BTC to this next weekly resistance level this coming week. So if you find this analysis helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more trading tips and forex analysis. You can also watch my previous analysis on EURUSD at the top, where I break down the current reaction now on the EURUSD. So see you in my next video.